Hello and welcome to this episode of the Diary of a Lawyer. And the discussion today is about the ongoing legal attacks or on anything that has to do with the diversity or almost African American or Black studies and programs in education, employment, and any other sector that are intended to try to mitigate or repair past injustices that are connected to the intergenerational consequences of slavery. I'm talking about the transatlantic slavery that went on for centuries, where people were abducted, kidnapped, tortured, killed, murdered, enslaved for free labor for centuries. Whether it's the Caribbean or the United States or other parts of the world. But in the US, there has been programs where there are attempts to remedy some of the consequences, intergenerational consequences of such injustice. I think, however, last year, a few months ago, there was a Supreme Court decision which is Students for Fair Admission versus Harvard, where the court, unsurprisingly perhaps, because of the composition of 6-3, 6 being conservative, 3 liberal, overturned the long-standing affirmative action decision. And there seems to be a relentless attack now going on to every other sector that may have any sort of programs that are aimed at repairing the injustices associated with slavery. And so now it's the legal profession that is under attack. And consequently, the president of the American Bar Association, which is the largest voluntary organization for lawyers, issued a statement which I'm going to read out about him, and says diversity programs at law firms. And the statement was issued on the 25th of August 2023, and it goes that the American Bar Association is deeply troubled by the recent efforts of some elected officials and advocacy groups to attack diversity programs at law firms. The legal profession needs to create a more diverse workforce. For example, just 6% of all lawyers are Hispanic, but they are 19% of the US population. And similarly, just 5% of lawyers are Black, even though they are 13% of the population. Diversity also is good for business and something more clients are demanding. The statement goes on to say that diversity, equity, and inclusion programs help remove the barriers that block the recruitment and retention of legal talent from underrepresented groups, and of efforts to open the opportunities in the legal profession, in the legal field, to underrepresented groups who would be significantly damaged by the loss of diversity and pipeline programs. Now, Goal 3 of the ABA calls for the elimination of bias and enhancement of diversity. It goes on to say that we stand committed to the promotion of full and equal participation in the association, our profession, and the justice system by all persons. Now, in the wake of the Supreme Court decision in Students for Fair Admission versus Harvard, the legal profession needs to review its programs and identify ways to comply with the law while promoting diversity, inclusion, and equity in the legal profession. It goes on to add that now is the time for law firms, law schools, and employers to rededicate themselves to creating a more diverse and inclusive environment. And as an explainer, the ABA is the largest voluntary association of lawyers in the world, and as the national voice of the legal profession, the ABA works to improve the administration of justice, promotes programs that assist lawyers and judges in their work, accredits law schools, provides continuing legal education, and works to build public understanding around the world of the importance of the rule of law. Essentially, in a nutshell, what they're saying, that whilst they disagree with the law or the decision, they can creatively identify and work in ways to comply with the law, but whilst also promoting diversity, inclusion, and equity in the legal profession. In other words, try to work within the law, but do not give up diversity, inclusion, and in any case, full speed ahead. But the overarching point is that there seems to be this attack by a group, by an individual who, a white guy, who seems to be, according to media reports, very well financed by opaque organizations and groups, and he's going after group after group or industry after industry that has any form of fairness and diversity and equity in terms of trying to address the injustices and inequality in that profession or industry that is associated with the long-standing impact of slavery that went on for generations. But that's a matter for others to look into. I'll focus on what sort of the law says and then the reactions from the legal profession. So that's it in a nutshell, and we shall speak again. And thanks for listening. Bye.